Yo, Fling here, and we are doing a battle royale on Underdog Fantasy first look draft for week 15. So let's do it. All right, guys. So going to hop over to DFS Army's domination station and look at the game tiles for some games we might want to target. There is one game that really stands out, and we obviously know why. You can see it right here. Vegas has nailed it, 54 point total for the game. We have Detroit with a 28.2 implied team total and Buffalo with a 25.7 implied team total. Forget about the numbers. Just think about everything we know about these two teams. They can score at will. They, have playmakers on both sides, a lot of heavy hitters. Arguably, this could be a Super Bowl preview. And, we saw Josh Allen last week. He gets down. What does he do? He takes over the game, has the best quarterback score that we've seen ever in fantasy with over 50 points. I think it was 54 points. So Josh Allen has the ability to will his team back. And this is a good matchup against a Detroit secondary that can definitely be exposed a little bit. So, love this matchup here. Obviously, Vegas thinks it's good as well. And I think the biggest thing when we look at this matchup is Detroit. They're scoring an average of 32 points a game, and Buffalo scoring an average of 30 points a game. So, yes, I think Buffalo has a decent defense. They're more of a run funnel. So I think that's going to open up things for Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They're harder to throw on, but Detroit is that type of offense that it won't matter. So I think we can throw out a lot of the matchups in this game. It's a good spot for Allen. It's a good spot for Detroit's running game. But weird things happen in games like this that can potentially be shootouts. So, this is a game I want all pieces from. And, we're going to take a look at this draft and see who maybe the field is sleeping on and, look to target those players in this game throughout the week when we do our drafts. Because this is a game I think, one way to attack this slate is there's two ways. You can either fade this game and this game duds and you're going to have a great slate, or, this game lives up to the hype and you want to, in all of your drafts, probably get a piece, right? You want Jahmyr Gibbs in one lineup, then you want Amon-Ra St. Brown in another, and you want Josh Allen as your naked quarterback. So think of it in that way. Now, there's obviously other games that stand out that we probably want to look to target. Miami and Houston. This is a game that has shootout potential as well. 47 points. Whenever you have these games that are over 45 but under 50, or even at 45, they tend to hit the over more times than not. So this is a game that stands out. Mixon obviously has been great. Nico Collins, this game I do think has shootout potential. And then we have Baltimore. I love this spot here. I think they can really crush the Giants. Obviously, it's a Derrick Henry spot. You normally don't see big games from Lamar when they're heavy favorites like this, but maybe some, one or two drafts, some onslaughts, Lamar, even Henry, Flowers, Andrews. So there's going to be definitely some spots to target there. Now, another game I like, Cincinnati. We saw it the other night. Chase has been killing it. Brown, both of the Chases, Jamar Chase and Chase Brown. So 26-point team total. I like this spot here, specifically if Tennessee continues to be as banged up as they are. This is definitely an offense I want to target. So Joe Burrow stacks as well as Chase Brown. Couple other spots that I like that I think could be under the radar. Washington going against New Orleans. New Orleans is just a banged up mess. So Jaden Daniels off the bye week. He's back this week. They have that 25-point implied team total. So I love me some Daniels. it's also a good spot for Brian Robinson Jr. So he's a guy that we can get in drafts, and he's kind of been a little overlooked almost every week. There's, a handful of guys that go ahead of him, and I think he did pretty well last week. And it was a last time they played week 13, and it was a blowout, or he would have got a lot more run. So they ended up pulling him and going with the backup. Now, Denver versus Indy, this is kind of underrated. It's actually a good spot for the Denver running backs, but they've been such a mess. I would just probably play McLaughlin here, if anything, for the Denver running backs. I don't want to get too crazy with it and go back to Javonte or Estime. They just haven't gotten enough work. But, I think you could also attack this of the Denver passing game. Bo Nix, Stacks, Sutton, Vele, of course. And the last game, that I'm really looking to potentially target. If we get Ladd McConkey back, I wouldn't mind going back to Justin Herbert here. I think this game could be a potential shootout, or at least play to the over. And, Tampa is a secondary you want to target. So Herbert with McConkey back in the fold. I would love some Herbert stacks. And on the other side of that, Baker Mayfield has beaten tough matchups this year. So I certainly think you could go there as well. Force a bring back. Mike Evans, we saw McMillan get involved last week. Cade Otton's always in play. And then if we get Rachaad White, this Chargers are kind of a run funnel. So if there's no Bucky, I would be interested in Rachaad White as well this week. So let's go ahead and hop into a Battle Royale draft. Love that, we still have these going on, and, it's 30K to first. So not the 50K that started the year, but 30K to first is still pretty good. Hope you all did well in your underdog drafts, your best ball drafts. I think I had about an average advance rate. One thing I will say is if I could go back and do it again, do the season over again, I would have got definitely a good amount more Saquon Barkley, would have got more Derrick Henry, less Chicago. I expect their offense to be better. Less Trevor Lawrence. Did not expect such a terrible year for Jacksonville. Other than that, I feel like we actually kind of nailed a lot of picks. Sutton, Nix. Those stacks, I think, went pretty well. Nico Collins, had he not gotten hurt, I had a lot of him. And, some of my advancing teams have him still. So, I think it would have been even better advancing. Nailed a lot of the running backs, the late running backs, Bucky Irving, Tyrone Tracy, Bigsby did pretty well. So, Chase Brown, a lot of these guys, I think Dowdle had a lot of Dowdle. So I think overall, it was a lot of good calls, and I'm interested to see how the playoffs go. Best of luck to everyone. Looks like I'm picking fourth here. So Allen, this is crazy to me that he's so high, but after last week, people are going to chase it. It makes sense. It's not looking like Gibbs is going super high, so maybe we can target Gibbs. Amon-Ra. Yeah, there's some good starts to be had here. So this draft just started. First player hasn't picked yet. I'm picking fourth. So he went Josh Allen. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some good players that are going to fall in this draft, because typically you never get a quarterback selected first. But this matchup definitely screams that it's going to shoot out. So I totally understand picking Josh Allen there. Then Chase went. So, wow, I'm going to get one of Saquon or Derrick Henry. I think I'm going to – this is too good of a spot for Derrick Henry. Is a massive favorite going against the Giants. Like, this is the spot where Derrick Henry typically smashes. If Amon-Ra did come around to me, I think I would snag him right there. I'm not expecting that he will. In fact, I know that he won't. Uh, I think I would take Nico Collins in this spot as well. Um, but yeah, maybe we'll get a run on running backs here, and I'll be able to get one of those wide receivers on the way back. If not, I think I would be perfectly fine doubling up on running backs. So he took Jahmyr Gibbs. So there's actually a decent chance. I wouldn't mind taking Chase Brown here either. And I'd say if I'm not able to get Amon Ra, I could potentially get Jameson Williams later. I could get Laporta later. There's, I think, going to be leverage spots for the pass catchers in that Detroit and Buffalo game. So Amon Ra just went. I'm going to take Nico Collins. I could potentially pair him with Stroud. Stack him with Stroud. Um, so I got to be mindful of that game, of who I could potentially stack. Maybe I can do Jonnu as a stack, is so that I don't um, get too many wide receivers here, because I would prefer to be able to get one of the pass catchers out of that Buffalo and Detroit game. So it looks like Lamar, Achon, Tyreek Hill. I could also potentially get David Montgomery as my second back. I think that might be the way to play that one. Tough matchup for AJ Brown. Potentially, well, he's going quite late. Maybe I get Jaden Daniels with McLaurin. I think I just autoed. So yeah, I took CJ Stroud with Nico Collins. That's kind of embarrassing. I just autoed on a live draft because I was really overthinking that one. So I think what happens is what is likely here. I'm going to take David Montgomery if he comes back around, which he already took two running backs. If Ash Coates does not take David Montgomery, he will come back around me. That will be my Detroit player. Maybe I will get another wide receiver from that game still. I think that's possible, but we'll see how this goes. I'm guessing he's going to take Jaden Daniels here, Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels. Curious if Kmalt here is going to stack Josh Allen or just run him naked. All right. So David Montgomery did make his way back. I'm going to go ahead and take him. I have one of the pieces from that game. Now, there's a couple of ways I could do this. I could shoot for like a ping pong stack. Do I want Amari Cooper? Or do I want just a secondary stack of Jameson Williams paired with David Montgomery? Do I want Khalil Shakir? Want to go back to the Khalil Shakir play from last week? Had a lot of him, ended up working out. I think that could be a way I'd play it, and then I could get Jonnu Smith as the bring back with my CJ Stroud and Nico Collins stack. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. We'll see how it goes. I think I will probably try to take either Jameson Williams or Khalil Shakir in that spot. Also, not opposed to just taking another wide receiver from another game, at value, because I definitely reached on the CJ Stroud with the auto draft pick. So we'll see how this lines up. All right. So Jonnu is there. I'm going to take Jonnu, and then I will wait on my decision for my next wide receiver. Both of these guys got 2 wide receivers, so he can either take one more. Yeah, so there will be another wide receiver that comes back to me. Do I want to take Judy? Do I want Flowers? Do I want Shakir? I am going to probably take Flowers in that spot. Um, I don't know. That's a tough call. That's a really tough call because if I take Flowers, I have the correlation of Derrick Henry there. They do have a high implied team total. Do I take Shakir? I think this might be a good spot for Shakir, actually. Kind of a little ping pong stack. Let me see. How to the DFS Army projections have these wide receivers. Shakir with a 13-point projection, Flowers with a 13-point projection. So it's quite close. It's quite close. And by the way, DFS Army, if you guys want to use their projection systems for any DFS contests, the Battle Royale, you can use the FanDuel projections essentially because that's going to be half PPR. Let's just go ahead and take Shakir before we. And there's Jameson Williams there as well, but I think Shakir is going to be the play. But yeah, the FanDuel is a half PPR, so like you can use these projections. You can also play on FanDuel. You can play on DraftKings. All these different contests, all these different sports. So NHL, MMA, college football, NBA, NHL. I think I just said NHL. Esports, you name it, PGA. Lots of different opportunities to play DFS and use all their tools. Use code FANTASYFLING. That'll get you 10% off a VIP subscription. I do appreciate you joining me for another live draft, another first look. If you're here, hit that like button, comment, let me know who you are targeting in drafts this week. I will have more content coming your way this week for the Battle Royales. I'll have that dropping on Friday. I will also be doing some on this channel, some playoffs best ball content. So how to attack it. I'm going to drop a video of the difference between Underdog and Drafters because both sites, they do it differently and it's really fun. And then we're going to do some live drafts as well, some players to target. So that's going to wrap it up. But stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because a lot more content coming your way. Take care.